Have you ever caught a girl looking at you a second too long, only to glance away when you noticed? Or maybe she played with her hair while talking to you, smiled for no reason, or leaned in just a little closer than necessary and you wondered, was that just friendly, or was there something more? If you've ever asked yourself that question, you're not alone. Most guys have, and most guys miss the subtle signs a girl gives off when she actually likes them. Because the truth is, when a girl likes you, she doesn't always come out and say it. Instead, her body does the talking. Today we're going to decode that secret language. And trust me, once you understand it, you'll never look at a conversation with a girl the same way again. But before we dive in, hit that like button if you've ever been confused by a girl's signals, and subscribe to the channel if you want more real-world insights into love, attraction, and confidence. And make sure to stick around until the end, because what I'm about to share with you could change your love life forever. Alright, let me take you back to a story. It was my freshman year of college. I was sitting in this crowded lecture hall, minding my own business when this girl walked in late. She scanned the room looking for a seat, and for some reason, she chose the one right next to me. Nothing unusual, right? But then over the next few weeks, I started noticing things. Every time I spoke, even if it was just answering a question in class, she'd smile. She'd lean in just a little closer than necessary to whisper a comment. When we'd walk out of class together, her footsteps matched mine, and she'd lightly touch my arm when she laughed. I thought maybe it was just how she was, friendly. But something felt different. One day I mentioned I was going to grab coffee after class. She suddenly perked up and said, "Oh, I love that place. I was thinking of going too." Coincidence? Turns out no. What I didn't realize back then was that she had been speaking volumes the whole time, not with her words, but with her body. So let's break this down. If a girl likes you, her body language will give her away. It's biological, emotional, and psychological. And once you know what to look for, it's like flipping on a light in a dark room. Let's start with one of the most common signs. Sign number 1, the way she looks at you, eye contact. Smiling, nervousness, and playing with hair. Let me tell you about a moment I'll never forget. It was the middle of summer. I was at a friend's rooftop gathering in the city, warm lights strung overhead, music humming in the background, and that soft, golden hour glow making everything feel just a little more cinematic. I was standing near the railing sipping on a cold drink when I felt someone looking at me. But the second I met her gaze, she looked away, fast, like she'd been caught doing something she wasn't supposed to. And then, a tiny smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. Not forced, not polite, one of those soft, involuntary smiles, the kind that says more than words ever could. I kept talking with my friend, but every so often I felt it again. That invisible string pulling my attention back to her. And every time I looked, there she was. Not staring, but glancing. Then looking away. Then smiling again. A pattern that repeated itself all evening. Eventually, I walked over, heart beating a little faster than usual. As I got closer, she tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear and shifted her weight from one foot to the other, tiny fidgets that betrayed her nerves. When I introduced myself, she laughed softly, and I could see it. She was trying to be cool, trying to play it casual, but her hands kept smoothing her dress, her fingers playing with her hair like they had a mind of their own. We started talking, and something fascinating happened. Every time I spoke, her eyes lit up. She leaned in. She smiled, even when what I said wasn't remotely funny. It wasn't about the joke. It was about the moment, the connection. And it hit me then. This wasn't just friendly. This was chemistry. Silent, invisible, undeniable chemistry. That night before we said goodbye, she admitted something. "I was trying not to look at you all evening," she said with a laugh. "But you just kept catching me." Exactly. So many guys miss these moments because they're not looking for the signs. But her body was shouting what her words wouldn't say. The lingering eye contact, the nervous laughter, the way she played with her hair, smiled uncontrollably, fidgeted with her jewelry. It was all part of her silent confession. When a girl likes you, she may not come right out and say it. But if you pay attention, really pay attention, her eyes will tell you everything. Her smile will give it away. Her little nervous habits will expose the truth. And once you learn to read that language, you'll start to hear it everywhere. Sign number 2, the mirror and the match. Mirroring, proximity, and touch. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon, and I was at a local bookstore. Cafe, one of those cozy places with shelves from floor to ceiling and the comforting aroma of espresso in the air. I had just found a quiet spot by the window, trying to focus on a book I wasn't really reading, when she walked in. We had met a few weeks earlier through mutual friends, and while our interactions had always been pleasant, they never really crossed into anything deeper. But that day something shifted. She spotted me and smiled. "Mind if I join you?" I gestured to the seat across from me. She sat down and we started talking. Nothing major, just light conversation about books and weekend plans. But slowly, something began to feel aligned. I leaned forward to adjust my coffee cup, and a few seconds later, so did she. I scratched my temple as I thought, and she brushed her bangs out of her face. I crossed one leg over the other, and almost like a mirror, so did she. It wasn't obvious, not unless you were paying attention. But I was, and every little reflection told me something louder than her words. "I'm in sync with you." Then came the subtle touches. She reached across the table to see the title of the book. I'd picked up and her hand brushed mine, not by accident. Not the kind of touch that makes you flinch, the kind that lingers just long enough to register. And when she laughed at something, I said, something not even remotely funny, her fingers lightly tapped my wrist as if to say, "You're funny. I like this. I like you." But what sealed it? It was the way she leaned in, not out of necessity, but out of interest. The cafe was quiet. She didn't need to move closer to hear me, but she did anyway. Her knees edged toward mine under the table, her torso angled in my direction. Her coffee cup, book, phone, all pointed toward me like I was the center of her gravity. And then I realized she had choices. There were other seats, other tables, other books, but she was there right in front of me, reflecting my every move, closing the distance inch by inch. Sometimes you don't need a confession. The signs are everywhere. When a girl mirrors your body language, leans in, matches your tone, finds excuses to touch your hand or shoulder, it's not random. It's instinctual. She's drawn to you, and even if she's not ready to say it, her body already has. Sign number 3, the dance of direction, feet, angles, and attention. Let's rewind to a housewarming party I once attended. Loud music, bodies crammed into a small living room, drinks spilling over, and that chaotic energy you only find when people are shoulder to shoulder and slightly tipsy. In the middle of all this noise, I was having a conversation with a group of people when I noticed her not just watching, but shifting closer and closer into our little circle. She wasn't saying much at first, just sipping her drink and smiling, laughing softly when others did. But what stood out wasn't what she said. It was where she stood. Her feet, her hips, her shoulders, all pointing directly at me. At first I thought I was imagining it, but then someone else in the group made a joke objectively funnier than mine, and she didn't even flinch. Her attention stayed fixed on me. Her body leaned ever so slightly in my direction, even though the person speaking was on her other side. You know how, at a party, people subtly shift themselves toward whoever they're most interested in, whether it's to hear them better or to be in their space. That's what she was doing. And the real kicker, even when someone tried pulling her into another conversation, she stayed angled toward me. She answered them, but her shoulders never fully turned. Her presence, her orientation, it never drifted. That's when I remembered something I'd once read. The feet always tell the truth. Sounds silly, right? But it's real. Our bodies are drawn to what we want, and her entire body was pointing toward me like a compass locked on north. People often miss this because it's subtle, but when a girl likes you, her focus doesn't scatter. Her posture aligns with her desire. Her eyes, her shoulders, her stance, they create a line. And if you're at the end of it, you're the one she's there for. Sign number 4, the unspoken transformation, voice, grooming, and coincidence that isn't. There was this girl I used to work with, friendly, always professional, smart as hell. We'd chat occasionally in meetings, exchange ideas, nothing serious, until one day things had shifted. It started with her voice. During a team discussion when she addressed the group, she was firm, confident, assertive, but the second she turned to me, her tone softened. She smiled more. Her pitch rose ever so slightly. It wasn't baby talk, not even close. Just warmer, gentler, like there was something tender hidden underneath. I started noticing other things too. Whenever I'd arrive, she'd already be there, dressed sharper, hair done in a way I hadn't seen before. One day I complimented her necklace, and the next week, she wore a new one and made sure I saw it. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a pattern. Then came the coincidences. She'd show up at the same lunch spot, same gym class, even the same bookstore on a Saturday. One day we bumped into each other at a coffee shop nowhere near the office. She smiled and said, "Wow, what are you doing here?" I laughed. "I could ask you the same." She paused, sipping her latte, then said quietly, "Maybe I was hoping I'd run into you." Boom. When a girl likes you, her world shifts in small ways. Her voice changes around you. Her appearance becomes more thoughtful, and her schedule starts to align with yours in ways that don't quite add up unless you realize she's trying to be near you. Sign number 5. The silent confession, stacked signals. Sometimes the signs come one by one. Other times they hit all at once. I was at a wedding. Classic romantic setting, soft lighting, live band, champagne everywhere. I was seated at a table with people I didn't know well, except for this one girl I'd met once before. Throughout the night, we kept finding ourselves near each other. She'd tap my arm when laughing. She mirrored how I sat. Our knees brushed under the table and neither of us moved. Her eyes lingered. Her smile was constant. Then came the kicker. During the slow dance, she said, "This song's beautiful." I said, "Yeah." And she added, "Wouldn't mind dancing to it." If I had the right partner, that was her saying it without saying it. Now here's the most important part. You can't just rely on one sign. One look, one smile, one brush of the hand might not mean anything on its own. But when these signs start stacking up, that's when you know. Girls speak in this silent language, not because they want to confuse you, but because that's how attraction works. It's instinctive. It's emotional. And sometimes it's even a little scary for them to be too direct. That's where you come in. If you notice these signs, don't ignore them. But also, don't rush. Attraction is a dance, not a sprint. Mirror her energy, engage, be curious. And most of all, be confident. Because confidence isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. Now I want you to think back to your own experiences. That girl who looked at you one too many times. The one who laughed at your jokes a little too loud. The one who found reasons to be near you, even when she didn't have to. Was she just being friendly? Or was her body speaking a language you didn't yet understand? You might already know the answer. And now you'll see it next time. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.